quiet of night, I whispered my plea, holding her close, hoping for her decree.
The attendance sheet said one thing. His grandmother, calling from beside the rice cooker, said another. She stretched the first sound, softened the last, and suddenly the boy turned before anyone else in the room did. Not because the name was louder, because it was his. What does a name teach us before a conversation even begins?
Before we know the meaning?
Exactly. Before school, before paperwork, before anyone asks us to explain where a name comes from, someone has already taught us how it feels when the right voice says it. I'm Samnang Bradley, and this is Ancient Echoes.
And I'm Sovan Linda. That story is composite, but the feeling is familiar to many families. A name can be a sound, a memory, and a relationship at the same time.
A parent may choose it because an elder loved the sound. A grandparent may use an older pronunciation. A child may carry one spelling on official documents and another version in a family phone. Then the name moves into a classroom, a workplace, or another country, where people may shorten it before asking whether it should be shortened.
And that is where I want to place one small warning. A pronunciation guide without a humility guide is only half a guide.
I was going to say we would give listeners the answers.
The starting points.
Fair. Starting points then. We'll listen to names, kinship terms, greetings, and the small choices that organize everyday respect. We'll also ask what happens when a name is changed by convenience, changed by choice, or carefully restored.
Khmer is a living language, not a fixed codebook. Age, familiarity, affection, region, generation, and setting can all influence how people address one another. Romanized spellings vary too, so the letters on a page cannot always tell you how a person wants their name spoken.
Let's make that less abstract. Imagine a child named in a kitchen. There is a metal spoon tapping a bowl, an aunt folding a towel, and an older relative repeating the chosen name until the baby settles. Nobody gives a lecture about etymology. The meaning grows because the name is used with care.
Then, years later, the child hears a teacher pause over the attendance list. The child offers a correction once, maybe twice. A classmate creates a shorter version. Sometimes that shortened form feels comfortable. Sometimes it feels like the child is being asked to make the name easier for everyone except the person who carries it.
And this is where I want to push you a little. We often say names change as languages move. True. But if a teacher hears the requested pronunciation and keeps refusing to learn it because it takes effort, that is not simply language change.
No, I agree with that distinction. But I also want to protect the cousin who chooses an English-friendly version of a name because it helps them move through a new workplace, or the parent who selects a spelling that relatives can pronounce more easily. From the outside, we may not know whether a change was imposed or chosen.
That's fair. So the question is not simply whether the sound changed, it is who got to choose, and whether anyone listened.
Yes, a mistake can be repaired. A preference can be explained. Indifference is different. You can hear it when someone says, "Please teach me," instead of making the person laugh off the discomfort.
Another composite story comes from a family gathering. A grandfather calls a young woman by a childhood nickname. She is an adult now, accomplished and busy, but her shoulders drop and she smiles. The name has carried her back to a courtyard, a bicycle, and the voice that used to call her in for dinner.
That nickname may not translate neatly. It can contain teasing, affection, protection, or one remembered moment. To an outsider, it may sound ordinary. To the family, it can hold an entire season of life.
This is also why kinship terms can be misleading when we translate them too literally.
In English, we may hear aunt, uncle, or grandmother and immediately draw a family tree. In Khmer, terms of address can also express age, closeness, respect, or a social relationship that is not biological.
Right. Terms such as bong and on are often discussed in relation to relative age or seniority, but actual use depends on the people and the situation. Terms such as ta or ye may be used for older people beyond a narrowly defined family relationship. These are useful patterns, not universal instructions.
So if I hear someone use a kinship term at a market, I should not immediately assume I have discovered the speaker's literal family tree.
Please don't build the whole tree from one word. Listen to the tone, the age difference, the setting, and how the other person responds. A term can soften a request or acknowledge responsibility. Translation opens the door. Context tells us which room we are in.
Let's bring in the diaspora experience. Picture a family apartment on a weekend morning. A grandparent calls a child in Khmer from the kitchen. The child answers in English without looking up from homework. Then an aunt repeats the child's nickname, first in English, then in Khmer, and the child finally comes into the room.
That child may understand more than they can produce. They may know when a phrase is affectionate, urgent, or joking, without being able to translate each word. Family language is often uneven. A greeting, a food word, a song, a nickname, or a name can survive, even when long conversations become difficult.
So fluency is not the only measure of continuity.
Not at all. Family language researchers often describe transmission as uneven, rather than all or nothing. A person may inherit the emotional meaning of a phrase before they can explain its grammar. That is not failure. It is one form of persistence under changing conditions.
And sometimes the first bridge back is a name. A young person may not hold a long conversation in Khmer, but they may ask a relative, "How did you say my name when I was little?" That question can open a family archive no document could replace.
It can also open a difficult conversation. Someone may say, "I use a different pronunciation now." That answer deserves respect too. Restoring a family form can be meaningful, and adapting a name can also be meaningful. Agency matters more than a purity test.
Let's offer listeners a small language kit, carefully, not a collection of sounds to perform for strangers, a few reviewed starting points, with the reminder that the person in front of you remains the best guide.
One commonly encountered formal greeting is written in English letters as Chom Reap Sewer. The spelling is approximate. For this episode, our reviewed pronunciation insert will be supplied by Khmer-speaking language consultants, and the show notes will include the Khmer script, audio, and a slower version. Please treat the romanization as a prompt to listen, not as a complete map of the sound.
And another familiar greeting is often written Susade. Again, the letters do not contain every Khmer sound. If your first attempt is imperfect, that is normal. What matters is whether you listen when someone offers a correction.
For thanks, many learners encounter orkun. For an apology, an excuse, or a polite attempt to get someone's attention, some toss may be useful in appropriate contexts. But a phrase is not a magic password. Tone, timing, relationship, and the situation still matter.
And if I do not know whether to use a name, a kinship term, or a formal address?
Begin politely and observe. You can ask in the shared language, "What would you like me to call you?" Or, "Please correct me if I say your name incorrectly." Then listen without making the other person reassure you. No dramatic apology is necessary. Repeat, thank them, and remember.
Listen, repeat, thank, remember. That sounds almost like a little rhythm.
It is a useful rhythm, and it keeps the focus on the person rather than on our performance. A visitor should not turn a greeting into a public pronunciation demonstration. A quiet question is usually kinder than asking someone to teach the whole room.
That matters in recording too. We should not capture a private family exchange simply because it sounds beautiful. We ask permission, explain where the sound may appear, and accept no without persuasion.
Exactly. The same principle applies to stories. Composite scenes protect privacy, but we identify them honestly as composites. Real voices require documented consent and appropriate credit. Cultural care includes production care.
The sources and consultants for this episode will be listed in the show notes, along with reviewed spellings, Khmer script, pronunciation audio, and notes on regional and family variation. We are not presenting one speaker's usage as the answer for every Khmer speaker.
That distinction is important. A dictionary can tell us about a word. A person can tell us how that word feels in a particular relationship. Both kinds of knowledge matter, and neither should be used to erase variation.
When we enter a Cambodian community, we do not need to arrive as experts. We can arrive observant. We can notice how people address one another, begin politely, ask when appropriate, and accept that a conversation may happen partly in another shared language.
And we can avoid collecting local words as souvenirs. Language is not a collection. People are not a collection. A greeting is something offered between people, with the hope that it will be received comfortably.
For listeners in the diaspora, perhaps the question feels even closer. You may live between the name written on a document and the name called by family, between the language you understand and the language you are still reclaiming.
There is no single timetable for that journey. Some people return through conversation. Some begin with food words, songs, ceremonies, or one remembered nickname. Some begin by asking an elder to say a name slowly and recording it with permission. Every beginning deserves respect.
Before we go, think of one name you carry. It may be your own name, a family name, a nickname, or the name of someone whose voice shaped you. Notice what gathers around it: a kitchen, a school corridor, a river road, a hand on your shoulder.
Then think of someone you will meet. How might you make room for them to tell you how they wish to be addressed? That small question may carry more care than a perfect pronunciation delivered without attention.
Names travel across rivers, borders, classrooms, kitchens, offices, and generations. They are shortened, restored, translated, remembered, and newly chosen. Through all that movement, they ask a quiet question. Will you hear me as I am asking to be heard?
Our answer does not have to be grand. It can be a careful greeting, a patient correction, a name remembered the next time, or a willingness to say, "Please teach me." That is where history meets hospitality.
Thank you for walking with us through the names we carry and the relationships language reveals. The transcript includes Khmer spellings, reviewed pronunciation notes, translations, source acknowledgments, and details about the permission-cleared recordings used here.
Please remember that regional, generational, and family differences are part of a living language. Use the notes as a beginning, then approach each speaker as an individual rather than an answer key.
If this episode gave you a new way to hear a name, please subscribe to Ancient Echoes and share it with someone who cares about Khmer culture, language, family memory, or respectful travel. You'll find the full transcript, pronunciation materials, and show notes on our website.
And when you share it, share the spirit too. Curiosity without entitlement, appreciation without performance, and attention that continues after the conversation ends.
From market chatter to temple chants, from village kitchens to family rooms, Khmer voices carry timeless tales. I'm Samnang Bradley.
And I'm Sovan Linda. Thank you for listening closely.
Until next time, quiet stones, loud stories.
Oh, shining diamond, flawless and rare, you stand so quiet, soft in the air. I dared not to rush you, feared you'd flee. Your heart too pure to belong to me. If you turn away, I reach and bind, press my hand, still body and mind. Your brows I trace, your breath I steal. This mark I place is dark and real. From this moment break and fall, hear the spell, obey the call. False love born from sacred lies, second one whispers through closed eyes. Follow me, don't fight, don't run, your soul is caught, my work is done. Empty will your light undone, under spell, under Sigmund. Crystal beauty, diamond bright, caught between shadow, charm and night. Time won't save you, truth won't last. This vow is carved, the line is cast. My words are smoke, my touch is fire. I bend your heart to dark desire.